Hey guys, Triple B here. Tonight we're going to be trying out Gardevoir EX. Definitely an exciting card coming out of the new set Scarlet and Violet. And the best part, if you're playing on Pokemon Trading Card Game Live, you can get this card for free. You do have to buy the premium battle pass, but you're not actually buying it. You're using in-game currency that doesn't cost any money. So yeah, it's free. Just play the game and you can get this card. Gardevoir EX, very impressive Pokemon, has 310 HP, so it's not really going to be getting knocked out by very many things. Giratina V-Star comes closest, doing 280 in one shot. If they're running maybe Cleansing Gloves, which I haven't seen a lot of people doing, they could get up to that 310, but things like Choice Belt, they're not going to get to that number. It has a very handy ability as well in Psychic Embrace. As often as you like during your turn, you can just attach a Psychic Energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. They do take 2 damage when you do it, so there's a bit of a trade-off, but you can kind of get around it. And having 310 HP, the attack cost also only being 2 Psychic and a Colorless to do 190, you can be half hitting into things and only taking a little bit of damage. It's pretty silly. The attack does also remove any special conditions on this Pokemon, so if your opponent's poisoning you or burning you, it's a good way to get those off. Obviously, things like sleep and paralysis, you can't attack while that's on there, so doesn't help. But maybe you're confused and you flip through it. It's pretty cool that it does have a secondary effect in the attack and not just doing flat damage. Some other attackers we do have in the deck to combo with this, though, and that are really going to benefit from the energy acceleration of Gardevoir is Gardevoir. So this Gardevoir, also pretty handy since the EX is going to be evolving from Kirlia. This is going to be evolving from Kirlia. We're using the same evolution line, but getting 2 different Pokemon out of it. Maybe even 3, but I don't want to, leak anything just yet. But this Gardevoir also has a very solid ability in Shining Arcana. Once during your turn, you can just look at the top 2 cards of your deck. If any of those are energy, attach them to your Pokemon how you like, and if they're not, just put them into your hand. So you're getting draw power, you're getting potential energy acceleration. It's really nice, and the fact that this also has a solid attack in Brainwave, which is going to do a flat 60 damage for 3 colorless energy, but then for each psychic energy attached to this, an extra 30 damage. So nice thing about this, it's psychic type. Gardevoir EX can accelerate energy to it, 140 HP, so you could accelerate 6 energy to it, doing 120 damage before knocking it out. And with 6 on there, you're going to be doing, 180 from the extra energy, 240 from just the base attack. You're going to be one-shotting Vs, getting pretty close to taking out V-Stars. And the nice thing too, we're going to be running the tool card Emergency Jelly. So if you have 30 or less health on a Pokemon at the end of your turn, heal 120 damage off of it. It's going to have exactly 120 damage on it. It's going to get fully healed. And then if it doesn't get knocked out, the following turn, accelerate more energy out, do an even bigger number. It's pretty solid. The fact that you can hit good numbers, accelerate energy to itself, get energy accelerated, it can do some pretty crucial numbers. I know we did say it gets up to 240, but if you're hitting energy off Shining Arcana, it scales up. So even if you just hit 270, attach for turn, 300, it's pretty nice to be able to hit those kind of numbers and can be going even higher if you'd like. Next attacker we've got, though, is Zacian V. So Zacian V also having an ability. Psychic Pokemon, they tend to have those. They're, pretty smart fellas. And ladies, shouldn't exclude. But Roar of the Sword. Once during your turn, you can search your deck for Psychic Energy and attach it to this Pokemon. Does end your turn, so similar to the other Zacian V we had that had, I believe it was Brave Blade or Intrepid Sword. Draw 3, attach any energy. This is just guaranteeing an energy instead of hoping to get one. Does end your turn though, so similar idea in that. And it's going to set up its attack Storm Slash very nicely. So similar to the other Gardevoir, doing a flat 60 damage, and then 30 extra damage for each psychic energy attached to this. This though, having more HP, so we can get up to 200 damage on this from the Gardevoir EX, so that's 10 energy accelerated, bringing it up to 360 damage all up. It's a solid number to be hitting, and since it's a V Pokemon, we can also be attaching Sky Seal Stone to it, and then using that. So if we're knocking out a Vmax or Vstar, take an extra prize. When you're doing 360 damage, you can definitely be knocking out Vmaxes and Vstars. So, hey Mew, yeah, we're coming for you. Gonna knock you out and then take out a Genesect. 6 prizes. Good game. It's pretty silly. Did also sneak another attacker in here that's a bit niche, and I don't think you would have seen it in Gardevoir lists yet. Wobbuffet. So it's a bit different. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick it out. It's just 1 copy, so you could easily cut it out and swap it with another card, maybe some more search or draw power. It's kind of up to you, but I thought it was an interesting inclusion. As the attack Mirror Pain, it's going to cost 2 colorless energy. We're going to be using psychic energy though. It's kind of what this deck does, is accelerate psychic energy out. And you get to put damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon equal to the number of damage counters on one of your bench Pokemon. So Gardevoir having 310 HP, it can be tanking hits. It can also be accelerating energy to itself to get up to that 300 threshold before being knocked out. And then we can use Mirror Pain and do that same number to the opponent. So if we're seeing V-Stars like Lugia or Giratina that have 280, we've only got a Gardevoir EX set up. Maybe our Zacian's already in the discard and we don't have a way to get it back, and we don't have anything that can evolve up to the regular Gardevoir. Wobbuffet's a great way to just be able to go out of nowhere. Hey, here's a basic, get in the active, damage my Gardevoir, and kill your guy. Neat. They're not going to see it coming. It's a nice kind of ace up your sleeve, and being a basic Pokemon, just an easy 1 card to slot into the deck, it's pretty helpful to be able to do. Like I said, it's kind of a tech. You don't need to run it, and just kind of something I'm experimenting around with. We do have another evolution from Kirlia though, and I know we'll get to the Kirlia in just a second, but we're going to be running Gallade as well. We're kind of bouncing around the way I'm showing this off, guys. Sorry about that. Lots of tech cards, psychic decks, it's kind of what they do. But Gallade has Buddy Catch. Once during your turn, just search your deck for a supporter, put it into your hand. You need Draw Support or Gust, or maybe you need Clara to get something back from the discard pile. Gallade's a great way to be able to do that. Its attack, Swirling Slice, is alright. Does 160 damage, so you're going to be half hitting into most things, which is pretty handy. Maybe you've just missed short on a Gardevoir EX doing 190. This comes up, another 160. You're going to be finishing things off, and then you move an energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench guys. So it keeps energy in play without having to put damage counters on things. It's kind of handy, and just another solid option to be able to have. Obviously, guaranteed supporter for turn is pretty busted, and the fact that it can half it, it's not a bad addition to have on there as well. But we've been talking about it plenty. Kirlia. So Kirlia, it does have the ability Refinement. You get to discard a card from your hand and draw 2 cards. Obviously, this deck, we want Psychic Energy in the discard. We want to be discarding those to be able to draw cards. It's, I don't know, kind of a no-brainer and just very solid. So you're ditching things, you're drawing things, you're setting up your acceleration, and then you're evolving into your main attacker. It's kind of silly. We do also run 1 copy of the other Kirlia that has Mirage Step, so you can use this attack, search your deck for 3 Kirlias, put them onto your bench. Maybe you haven't found Ralts early game and you're struggling to get your bench set up. Just use Level Ball, get into this guy, use this attack, get 3 Kirlias on your bench. Next turn, get a Gardevoir EX and 2 regular Gardevoir, or a Gardevoir and a Gallade. Even if they knock out this Kirlia, you've got 4 in play, so you're fine. It's a little bit silly. For the Ralts, though, we are going to be running a split line of that as well, since there's a kind of an interesting one we can be using. Ralts with Memory Skip, just 1 Psychic Energy and 10 damage, nothing really to write home about, but the effect of it is you get to choose your opponent's active Pokemon's attack and just say, you know what, you're not allowed to use that attack next turn. So if you know that your opponent is just using big bulky attackers, maybe they don't have a lot of switch or they've gone through them, Lugia being one of those decks that doesn't run a lot of switch, so they're having to discard energy to be moving things around. If they have that in the active, you just Memory Skip, say, you know what, you can't use your attack and you only have 1 attack. Neat. I'm just going to buy myself a bit of time while I get set up. It's a pretty solid option to be able to go into, and then we do run 3 copies of the other Ralts since it has 70 HP. 70 HP is pretty handy because if you're seeing Lost Box, if you've got guys that have 60 HP, Sableye comes out and goes, okay, I'm going to put 6 there and 6 there and take 2 prizes. You don't really want to be doing that. 70 HP doesn't fix it up too much since they can be running, I about to say Zigzagoon, but now it's Hawlucha, which is going to put 1 damage counter on 2 guys on the bench. So if they're just doing that to 2 guys that have 70 HP, they effectively have 60 HP then, and then they just finish them off anyways. But making them have to take that extra step is very helpful. So we're going to be running 3 copies of this Ralts just to play it safe. Speaking of bench damage, though, we're going to run Manaphy just to protect ourselves from Greninja. And speaking of Greninja, we're going to run Greninja since concealed cards, ditching energy to draw cards. We're doing it with Kirlia. Why not do it on a basic as well and get even more draw power? It's a pretty solid card to be able to do. And last but not least, I just noticed I missed the, I was about to say star of the show, but it's more of a Moon and a pretty helpful sniper since we are talking about bench damage. Moonglow Reverse is going to let you move 2 damage counters from each of your Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So up against things like Lost Box, where their biggest health guy is what, Cramorant with 110. You have 6 guys that have damage counters on them, just heal them, move them all to it, kill that Cramorant. Or if you hit something for 190 with Gardevoir EX and they're trying to run it to the bench And it's like, oh no, I only have to do 120 more damage. However, am I going to do that and gust you? Don't gust them, just snipe them. Smart. SMRT. That's it for the Pokemon though. Sorry about bouncing around a little bit there, guys. Still kind of figuring out the format I want to do for these PTCGL deck lists. So if you enjoy this presentation, let me know in the comments down below. And if you're after the deck list, it'll be in there too. That's it for the Pokemon. And getting into the trainer cards, probably just going to have to show the full list to get through it. But there's a few different ones in here that I haven't seen in a lot of Gardevoir lists. So we'll just talk about those ones real quick. First up, we've got Pokestop. So I know a lot of people have been running Temple of Sinnoh. Obviously helpful, counters into Lugia, makes their special energy do nothing. Single strike Lugia being a thing, it's pretty helpful. But if you can just get set up faster and take them out, it's probably a better call. So Pokestop, discarding the top 3 cards of your deck, any item cards, put them into your hand. It's helpful to get into your Pokemon search. It's helpful to get into your rare candies and be able to evolve into Gardevoir. And maybe just get energy in the discard pile to accelerate out with Gardevoir. Is a little bit of a monkey paw though, because as helpful as it can be, it can also bite you a little bit. So I feel like this is going to be a lot more powerful once we get Super Rod reprinted in Palutena Evolved in June, but definitely an interesting stadium card to try out, so I'm giving it a go tonight. And the other cards we're going to be running that are pretty helpful, we've got 1 copy of Worker. Since we're going to be running Gallade, we can search out a supporter card. If our opponent has Path to the Peak in play and we don't have a stadium to counter it, just being able to search the deck for Worker, we draw 3, so it's not super powerful, but we're drawing cards off Kirlia and Gardevoir anyways. We don't need heaps of draw, and just discarding a stadium from play. It's a great way to counter that and makes it so that our Gardevoir isn't being completely gate-kept by Path to the Peak. It's a pretty common stadium, so having an out to counter it is pretty pivotal. We've also got 1 copy of Roxanne, just for late game, a little bit of disruption for our opponents and draw power for us. It's a really great option. And then for standard draw power, we are looking at Judge and Research. They're pretty self-explanatory. For Gust, we've got Boss's Orders. And then for some Pokemon recovery, we do run 1 copy of Clara. Clara letting you get 2 Pokemon and 2 energy from the discard pile. Pretty solid. Maybe you don't need the energy to attach for turn since we're accelerating them from the discard, but having those energy to then discard with things like Ultra Ball, Kirlia, or Greninja for extra draw power, it can definitely come in handy, and getting Pokemon immediately back into your hand to be able to evolve up into them, it's pretty helpful. I know you can be running Miriam, which gets 5 Pokemon back. They go in the deck though, and if you don't have a way to search them out after, it's a little bit tricky, so I prefer Clara for that reason. We've also got 1 copy of Palpad, just to be recycling those supporter cards if we need them, or if we hit them early game off a Kirlia, maybe we have to discard them, or off Pokestop. It's a great way just to be able to put them back into the deck. For item cards though, the search in the list, it's pretty standard. We've got Level Ball, Fog Crystal. Since it's a Psychic deck, we're going to be getting Energy and basic Pokemon, and then Ultra Ball to be able to get into our evolution pieces. To evolve up into the Gardevoir, we do have Rare Candy, and for tool cards, we already mentioned it, but the Emergency Jelly to be able to heal when we have 30 damage on our guys. And then Sky Seal Stone to be able to take some cheeky extra prizes. And the last thing in the deck, obviously the Psychic Energy. We are going to be running a 12 count. I've seen people running 10 to 11, and it just seems a little bit thin. We want to make sure we've got attachments for turn. We want to make sure that we have enough to be going in the discard pile, because if you prize 3, it can hurt. Or if you're not finding them early game and slowing yourself down, it's not a great spot to be in. So I like to have a heavy count when I can, especially with something like Gardevoir, where it's just like, hey, you know what, the more the better. Consideration for the deck list would be running Battle VIP Pass, and if you wanted to go for it, it would likely just be cut 1 Level Ball, 1 Ultra Ball, 1 Fog Crystal, and maybe 1 Energy. Slot in for VIP Pass. It's going to increase your consistency in getting your basic Pokemon out, but I haven't really been feeling too many issues with the list as it is so far, so it's completely up to you just what you'd like to go for. That's the deck list. If you like it, it's going to be down in the comments down below. And while you're down there, you may as well hit that thumbs up button if you made it this far, and subscribe so you know more shenanigans like this is coming out. Let's jump on ladder though and see how we go at this tonight. I feel like Klefki is one of those cards that like you need to make 2 slots for it, because up against Lost Box, they've got a lot of escape rope, right? So if they go escape rope, you want to have 2 Klefkis just be like, whoop, whoop. They're still locked out, which I just don't know what we would cut at that point. 3 slots? Yeah, and then it's, what are you doing? Because as it is right now, like, I'd like to find space for, well, more draw supporters. I'd also like to find space for VIP Pass. And like energy, I don't really want to cut on energy. The Wobbuffet is obviously like, yeah, we could probably cut the Wobbuffet, to be honest. I feel like it's an interesting call, but not the call. Having 2 rare candies, I thinking we're holding this hand. 2 rare candies and the Ultra Ball. Oh, like we don't have energy, so what's the point in rare candy even? But losing both of them definitely sucks. Okay, maybe we get Greninja, get some draw power. All right, all right. Do we get another Ralts? Like both rare candies are gone. And it looks like one of the Kirlia is prized. So I think we just grab energy. How much are we doing if we attack with this on 3 energy? 120. Irrelevant then. We just dig. Yeah. Really wish we had those rare candy. I tried Gardevoir with Mewtwo. No, I haven't. Have you given it a go, Photon? Seen some people running it at locals and it looks decent? Nice. Nice. Yeah, I could definitely see Mewtwo and Gardevoir being pretty cool. Because, like, the Kirlias obviously can discard the Mewtwo pieces. You just go, like, heavier into... Oh, Ultra Ball. Fog Crystal doesn't hit it because it's not a basic. But, like, it gets you the energy. I don't mind that, actually. That's kind of spicy. Seems like a good end game plan. Yeah. Well, and it'd be good for against Lost Box, too, because you can put out damage counters, right? That's kind of spicy, actually. Do you have a list, Photon? Makes you think more about using discard cards, though? Does it? I feel like it gives you a bit more targets for discards. Because that's the thing, I think you just go a bit more targeted discard. Like you could use things like Zinnia. Yeah, well, like we can always just theory craft on here. I feel like someone posted some a while ago. Like people were going a little preemptive with Scarlet Violet lists. They're like sending me lists like a month and a half ago and just like, it's too early, guys. Till I can have it in front of me, like I'm not messing around with it. Okay, so they're going for the escape rope. Looks like they're going for a Magnezone build. That's kind of spicy. Thinking we put this. Okay. I like where their head's at. This is sick. Might have been you. Japanese Gardevoir lists have been going around for a while. Yeah. Well, like there was someone posting I think it's Palkia V-Star Gyarados list like a week or two ago. And even that, I was like, I need them in front of me. Like I can't just look off like a picture and be like, oh, cut this, cut this. It's like, nah, you need to be able to kind of test, see how everything clicks. Losing those rare candies is really gonna punish us this game, I think, guys. Not looking good. I think we hold the Ultra Ball. Now, like, I'm considering using this, but at the same time, the chance of us hitting Pokemon is pretty high right now. Holding these to be able to accelerate energy out is also currently not, like, the worst idea. Might just ditch the worker. Could boss something up. What's the heaviest? I think we just passed there though. Putting that Pokestop in play is a bit of a mistake. If you're not using a stadium, don't put a stadium down. And that's the thing, like immediately after putting it down, it's like, well, we've got Guardy in there still, and I don't want to hit an EX off Pokestop because our only recovery currently is Clara. I cannot wait for Super Rod to get reprinted. Or yeah, Super Rod to get reprinted. So he's currently doing what, 120, 200. If they can evolve into a Vmax, we're in trouble. Therefore, Seal Stoning, they're getting a Vmax. Yeah, we probably should have bossed up a Miraidon. Miraidon or the Magnezone. I was just more so holding on to the boss for the theoretical, like, boss kill that play. Which, that's not coming up now. Yeah. Alright, well, we can at least put this active, evolve to it, get the Gardevoir EX, accelerate a bunch of energy out. Right? Please don't be priced. Yeah, I didn't use the other refinement either, did I? Far worth keeping here. Because we could Clara, we could get Zacian. Zacian could take knockouts. Zacian's in range though. This is a single prizer. I think that's the only way we're coming back is by attacking with single prizers here. More energy. Right, tool cards don't count as items anymore. Pokestop's not as strong anymore. Because I was using Pokestop to try and dig for Sky Seal Stone. But yeah, no, that's irrelevant. The errata kind of defeats that. Well, like being able to use that and get into Zacian next turn, we might actually have a shot here. But we need to get a Vmax in the active. Yeah, it's not going to happen. One, two, three, four, five, six. Like, I think we just Palpad Boss Roxanne back? Or we hold off for Clara. Might hold off for Clara, to be honest. What's our damage at right now? 180, 240. This puts it up to 270. Might just attach here? Nah, we go big damage. We just go big damage. Pretty sure we instantly just get knocked out though. Magnezone does what, 150? Oh, but they might not have the evolution because we're Roxanne. This might work out. The opponent's list reminds me of Dialga Magnezone. That's been popular. Really? Is it like, it's not Dialga in this Magnezone, right? Like Dialga with the Steel Magnezone? Magnezone EX. Oh, that's actually kind of spice. I like that. That's funny. So like the tricky thing is like we could Clara and get the Zacian, but if we do, if we bench the Zacian, it gives them a definite target. But I think we definitely do at least get the Zacian back. We had a Kirlia back. I almost should have Pokestop first, because then theoretically we hit a Manaphy and bin it. And then get it back in case they are trying to go for like bench damage. But I think we should be fine from bench damage here. Or just do that. And yeah, we'll Palpad Clara Roxanne. Or Boss Roxanne. I like that we've got the Gallade too to be able to actually pull that off reliably. From here though, I think we're fine just to swing. And then follow-up would be we bench Zacian, we attach an energy to something, rush out a bunch of energy, swing. That should be game. Sure, we'll draw cards. Why not? I think regardless of what they put up though, we should have game here. Because we need to take out a 2 prizer. They somehow have to take out 3 prizes worth of things. and they don't have anything that can do bench damage currently now that we've taken out the Magnezone, and we have the Manaphy. We should be fine. 20 metal energies? That's nuts. Maybe we could give that a go. We could give that a go. Got another, like, hour. Oh, we got a funky monkey popping up in the chat. Little Simisear. Not there I was. You don't have a trainer pass yet? What? Oh, you got a Cyndaquil? Sick, man. Sick. I think I got a Torchic when I started. It's alright. Cyndaquil's sick though. I liked him. He's good. Best Gen 2? Oh... I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm on that Totodile gang, man. The game's going good. The game's going good. Slowly but surely figuring out Gardevoir. Like, I'm still not amazing with it, but I think I'm getting the plays a bit more. We should have this one essentially cinched. There's no way for them to get 3 prizes. Yeah, they just pass. We literally just swing through them. That's just game. Okay, so the Roxanne came in pretty clutch. Wobbuffet... yeah, I think Wobbuffet can get cut.